eyes done up like Christmas and nowhere to go. So nice. So this arrived. It finally came. It weren't that bad actually. Sorry. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. This is the Tati Textured Neutrals Volume 1. After playing with it, I cannot wait for Volume 2. Whoops. Sneak preview of my thoughts. I got it early this morning. I got it at 10:30 and the time is now 17:11. So it's just gone past 5 o'clock. I've had all day to play around and test out this palette. So this got shipped to me last Wednesday. Today is Monday, so that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I'm all the way in the UK, and yes, it arrived in one piece, thank God. So on my video, I'm going to show you exactly what I did with the eye look today, and then go into how what I thought about the palette. This palette is definitely going to get dirty. It's got the type of packaging which likes to leave fingerprints. It's not going to stay pretty for long if you're going to be an avid user of it, for sure. So I'll give you a quick look inside. It comes with a huge big mirror, which is really cool. There's me. Say hi. So when I saw it, initial reactions when I first opened it was, I'd say 7 out of 10. I was like, oh yeah, it looks quite pretty. Overall, the colour story was 7 out of 10, I'd say. So all afternoon I've been testing this out with my other palettes to see how they compare, with how the mattes feel, how the shimmers feel, and how the glitters feel, to give you guys a proper review. So this might just be my most in-depth review so far. Once I finished this eye on camera, this eye took me 8 minutes. So pretty impressed. I do have a lot to say about this palette, so please keep watching and I'll see you in a second. Let's start with the eye look. I've already concealed I am so not used to filming no more. I've already concealed my eyes and laid some powder over them. I do that. For me, I do prefer to set my lids with powder. I find it a little bit more easier to blend in shadow on a set base. I have tried it on a tacky base. It is a little bit more work to blend, but yeah, I do prefer to set my lids with some powder. So what we're going to do, we're going to go in with, the first colour is on the matte line Aura, the lightest matte in the pan at the bottom there. I'm just going to lay that all over the lid for the first colour. I'm using my Wayne Goss brushes today, and it's the number 3 brush. And this has a huge mirror, so I shouldn't have any issue in laying this down. So because it's my first time actually playing with the palette, I'm not taking this look necessarily really seriously, because I would have done my eyes first, if that makes sense. Time is a gift we don't have. The second colour I'm going to go in is again on the matte line Soothe, which is the next lightest matte in the palette. Same brush, and I'm going to be laying that all in the crease and taking it a little bit higher than the crease as well. Normally I do a voiceover when using palettes, but when you're testing out a new palette and it's a very highly anticipated palette as well, going into it like this, dab dab dab, it's picked up product. I'm going to tap it and let's see what happens. Yeah, it's just best to do to do it live and see. Oh, that's pigmented. I'm barely touching my skin. So I'm just placing that all in the crease. Showed up lovely. It's coming off. I thought it would be more of a tan, like a faux tan brown, but it's looking like a bit orangey. This is a clean brush. I'm not going to do anything crazy today, just so you know. I think what I'll do for time, I'll do one eye, just to make it easier. I'm taking my time because I want to see how good it blends. Obviously, if you were just like nipping out to the shops, you wouldn't be doing all the detail, you know, just making sure everything's blended. So I've got it exactly where I want it to be, so I'm just like smoking it out now, just blending it all in there. wiped my brush off. Going in with that sequin shade above the matte one in the Soothe row. But now we're going into the sequins. It's near enough the same shade, but I know it's going to give me more colour payoff. And you get more kick up when you go into these. Let's see how much you can see the sparkles using a blending brush, but I'm sure you're going to see it more if you just pack it on with your finger. But there's no point me doing that, to be honest. So I'm just going to run that through the crease. And on the eye you can see a very minimum amount of sparkle, but it has deepened up the crease nicely. Blends nicely too. And yeah, you can see that nice sparkle in there, but it's not major. If I get in closer so you can see the sparkle, it's very, very minimal. I can also fix what I need to fix as well while you're looking at that. But can you see what I'm talking about? It's like really fine sparkles. And again, just running it through softly to blend any lines. So this is how we're looking at the moment. So I've heard people complain about blendability for the matte shades at the bottom, especially the Ritual dark brown in the palette. I'm going to try that, see how well it blends out. I know some browns are hard to work with. My Natasha Denona is so pigmented. If I go in too hard with that shadow, it takes me a good minute to blend it out. Let me get a smaller brush. Hopefully this is going to be small enough, and this is the Wayne Goss number 6. Let's try this one. Oh my god, the palette is heavy though. See how troublesome she really is. A decent amount on that brush, and we're going to start putting that in there. So I'm just dabbing it on to start with. So it's left a nice amount of colour to like deposited. It's deposited a nice amount of brown. Still want to deepen it up a bit more. Let's see if I can blend this bit in first. I'm going to blend it into the crease first, halfway through the crease, not all the way to the other end. Soften it up. That's blended quite nicely, I think. This is literally killing my hand, man. I cannot hold this palette. That's pretty nice. This glitter, I don't know, this part right here, that must be from the sequins. Like when I just applied it, the glitter must just have flew off to the side. So I don't like that. That can be wiped away with a cotton bud. But yeah, I'm guessing that second shade I went in with the sequins, it must have flew off and just deposited itself right on the outside of my eye here, which is annoying. But that brown blended in nicely. Let me fix that. So I've wiped away a little bit of it, but that's looking really nice. So I'm taking this smaller brush and just going to deepen it up a little bit on the outside, barely blending it in. Stamp it in the corner and slightly onto the bottom part of my lid. Like so. I don't want to blend it out, I want to keep it as dark as possible. And then, just to make it darker a little bit more, I'm going to go in with black. So an even smaller brush now. This is the Morphe M149. And I'm just going to dot the black. So far I'm impressed. This is like, this palette is me all over. Like seriously. It's just, you know, when I go out, this is the colours I wear. Right, let's just see how black this is. Ooh. That's nice. I'm not going to put it on the inside. I'm just barely tapping it. If you know that the palette is going to be really pigmented, then you know, be careful. That's all I've got to say. Bringing the black slightly in the middle. Fading it as we go along by tapping that brush and going upwards, like stroking upwards. if we can see. I mean, yeah, we can go all out on this palette. You could really take your time, make the overall look outstanding. But it's my first time playing with it, and I wanted to see how it would blend. I like it. Right, so the glitter part, I won't lay a glitter glue down because I've heard it applies really nicely with the fingers and a brush. So I'm going to use my fingers for initial application, neaten it up with a brush on the outside. And the colour we're going to do today is going to be, oh my god, which one should I do? I'll do Aura. No, I don't want to do Aura. Maybe I'll do a bit of both. Right, what I'm going to do is a little bit of both. A little bit of Story, which is like a rose gold copper, right here. And then the one next to it, which is Soothe. So these two here, Story first. And they do feel ultra fine glitters. Here it is on my hand. Press it in the centre. Wow, that is a really Christmassy colour. How it feels going on. I just feel like it's best to work with a glue or a primer when you're using glitters, because I think it's gonna stay longer. You know? I haven't wet my brush, I'm just basically using this brush dry. Let's get the light part of the glitter, which is next to it. And I'll just use the other side of the brush for that. Soothe. Oh my god, it looks gorgeous. Oh yeah. I can just blend them into each other. That's what I'll do. They're good, they're beautiful glitters. Oh wow. Oh yeah, that is nice. So Christmassy. Look at that. Look at that. Obviously, if you don't like glitters, you're not going to get this palette. But moi loves glitters. So that's after applying it onto the lid, the glitter, I feel like I will definitely use a glitter primer next time. They do apply very nicely without one, but if you want that glitter to stay there, I doubt it will. That's the most I'm going to do. I'm not going to put any liner on. I'm going to do my mascara, lashes, do the other eye off camera, and then come back to you and talk to you some more about this palette. But I think it is really nice. I'm getting the opinion and the feelings right now, but that glitter is not going to stay. That's going to fall down onto my cheek area. We will see. That is not a make or break for me, because I will just use it as I would any other of my glitters. So, but yeah, glitter glue is the safest way to go. So I'm going to finish my other eye off camera and come back, do a little bit of cleaning up underneath, and we'll talk. So I hope you enjoyed the quick eye tutorial, and it was quite quick. As you saw, I didn't have any issues at all. Let me have a look in this mirror to see if any glitter has fell down onto my face yet, which I believe it probably has. So this eye's looking extra good. This is the last one I did before coming on camera. Focus on me, focus, focus. And the other eye, I can see a few specks, but so far so good. Just get quickly close up so you can see. So there's a few specks, I think, under this eye which has fell down, but nothing majorly. And yes, and it's transferred up into the crease area as well. So as I said in the tutorial, I would prefer to do my eyes first when using this palette, which 9 out of 10, apart from when I'm doing the school run, which is bare minimum. If I'm doing my makeup for the day for any kind of reason, I do usually start with my eyes first, so that's not a big deal to me at all. But if you're one for doing your base first, I would recommend doing your eyes first when using this palette, if you're going to go ahead and use the glitters and even the sequin shades as well. So as you know, this cost $48. I paid $59 all in all. I paid $59. I have a bit of a cold as well, by the way. That was including shipping. 5 days it took, including the weekend. I'm impressed. We have the matte row, we have the sequin row, the shimmers, and the glitters, which are stunning, by the way. Absolutely stunning. I've got to do swatches. Great. I will do the swatches. I'll just talk to you a little bit about the shadows themselves. So the shimmers in here, did I use any of the shimmers today? I definitely didn't take my time doing this look because I just realised I didn't use one shimmer. Didn't even use it under the brow or the inner corner. So I swatched a few of the shimmers, compared them to my other shimmers in several other palettes, not a lot. I compared them to the shimmers in here just to see if they felt, how they would feel, if there was better quality, and overall I found that the shimmers, or metallics, sorry. So overall the metallics performed as average. Nothing spectacular, nothing bad, just nice, smooth metallics. I'll just do it now under the brow bone for the sake of this video. Let's get a clean Zoeva flat brush and go under the brow, shall we? Let's do it. And I'm going to use this shimmer here, which is in the line of Aura. And I think I heard people say these perform better when wet. But let's see what this does. It's a nice, subtle shimmer. So these are not wham bam in your face shimmers. They're very, very subtle and sophisticated and nice. I mean, that's left a beautiful highlight under the brow. So that is really nice. I like that. There's nothing about the shimmers which makes this stand out to any other palette that I have. They swatch very, very consistently too. So all the shimmers swatch the same. Whereas if you find in some other of your palettes, some of the shimmers do not swatch the same, which is a disappointment because you want them all to be performing the same, where these do all perform the same. I think this one is going to be the most standout-ish colour, so that's good. So when I say some don't perform the same, like, let's see, the Huda Beauty New Nude palette, the retrograde one, is very pretty. When you look at hers, her shimmers, the special marble ones, the bottom one here and the top one here, they are the best shimmers in there, and I'll swatch them for you now. So Charmed, and you can feel it straight away, but it's going on the finger. It's going to be a nice swatch of a shimmer shadow or a metallic shadow. And Crave, so Crave feels a little bit more drier but still soft. So when they're on the finger, sorry, that's how they look. And you just know by those you're going to get a lovely, lovely swatch out of it. Gorgeous. So yeah, those two are really good. Now if you go into the other two here, which is Fantasy and what's that called, Daydream, they are not going to be as pigmented. So here is Daydream. You see? There. So you get a bit of a nice swatch. But the most metallic is Crave and Charmed. In Tati's palette, all the shimmers perform equally. All the metallics. So that's a good thing in my eyes. Obviously they've got different finishes in this one. You've got them amazing shades there, but I'm not going to swatch them because there's no point in comparing them. They're nothing like that of what's in the Tati palette. But this shimmer down here is amazing. It feels a lot more rough texture than Tati's, and I would say it's more of a metallic, a real strong metallic shade, which I'm just going to put there. And then if you swatch the one over here in the corner, this very smooth, very similar feeling to Tati's, and you swatch that next to it, you can barely see it on the skin. I think I will swatch Tati's live on my arm, so you know I'm telling you no porcupines. We'll start off with the pink and work our way through. And I just want to show you what I'm talking about with the shimmer. So pink one first, very smooth here. And oh god, it applies really smooth to the skin, like so soft. So next one on the metallic row is in the Aura line. It feels exactly the same as in texture and shows up on the skin just as well as the pink. Next one we have is Soothe, one of my favourite colours in the palette. It's a beautiful colour, and that is a mixture between a It's like a warm gold bronze. Focus on me. And then we're going to do Story on my pinky finger. They all feel the same right there. All of them are showing up. I'm not finding one is more sheer than the next one. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying, bruv? We got Ritual. Feels lovely as well. We'll put that here. Really smooth. And then the last metallic in the pan, clean my finger off, is Memory. Ooh, that feels a little bit more like the one in the Stila palette, because it's going to have that wow factor. Now that is a true metallic shade in my opinion. I would have liked for all of the shades to perform like this. That is my preference. They're more of a subtle, smooth metallic than the one on the end there, but I do prefer the finish on the last black one in the palette. So that would be the only thing that I would have liked to have. As far as quality of the metallics, they're very good quality, very smooth, but they're just not bam in your face apart from that last one. So that's how I feel about the metallic row. The sequin row here, when I first saw the palette, I'm talking about the sequins, I immediately thought of the one single shadow which I got on my Sydney Grace giveaway from Heather. Thank you, girl. There's a single shadow in here called Underworld. And this is a matte finish with sparkles in it. You can see more of the glitter sparkles in Tati's than in the Sydney Grace one. And as far as blending them out, yes, when you blend out the shadow, you do tend to see the glitter spread out and not stay put. So it's a nice concept, a pretty afterthought, but the way that works out in the end, you're like, what is the point? I don't know. I wanted to play around with the palette more to see if I can get the sequin row to stand out more on my lids without disturbing the glitter particles. But you'll see on the tutorial when I did use Soothe, the sparkles of glitter which was in it was flying around pretty much towards the outer part of my eye, which I didn't appreciate and I had to clean it up. So yeah. But this Sydney Grace one here, this is the same kind of concept as Tati's. It's got the sparkles in that matte. By the way, this one swatch is insane. It feels smoother than Tati's, and it just goes, the swatch goes on for like days. It is so pigmented. Let me do the Soothe one. I love the sequin formula. They're more smoother and buttery than the matte formula, so I'm not completely mad at the fact that the glitter sparkles kind of disappear after you blend it away. But I like the formula of it. It deepens up the crease. They feel nicer than the mattes do, believe it or not. The formula is lovely. And this is the Soothe row, the lightest sequin in there. And it's just so smooth going on the skin and going on the lid. You can just tell that when I was blending it in, it was just more, it is nice. It's nice. I think they're really nice to work with. So that's good. Yes, they're similar to the bottom row. If you are a neutral brown lover, I think you're definitely going to love this palette. It's a very heavy duty palette. It doesn't feel lightweight at all. It feels really good quality. After playing with it for a few hours and testing it out with other palettes that I have, the sequin row is one of my favourite rows in there. That and the glitter row, I think, is the winners in this palette. The colour stories are perfect for creating, you know, a really nice evening look. And I'm going to do a day look very, very soon with it. This I did very, very quickly. Didn't do no cut crease. I just placed the glitter where I wanted it to be and it stayed. And as I'm still talking to you, it's pretty much doing a good job at staying put. So that's impressive as well. And the brown, I had no issue blending out the brown. I've seen a couple of reviews where they've had issues with a few of the mattes in here, but I haven't. When I felt the difference in the matte texture compared to Natasha Denona, it was pretty apparent that Natasha was probably double as smooth than Tati's. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do a good swatch of both browns and then get my blending brush and see what the issue is with blending it out and see how it blends on the arm. So here is Natasha Denona. I'm going to, oh my god, silk. There's her brown. And then the next one I'll do on my ring finger is the Tati brown. They still feel nice and smooth. I've felt worse browns. Very, very dark. So in colour, my index is the Natasha Denona, slightly cooler, and the ring finger is Tati. I'm going to place the Natasha Denona here. So Tati's I'll just place there. I'll use my Wayne Goss number 3 brush. So let's start with Natasha Denona, shall we? So Natasha Denona is here, and we're going to blend that, smooth the edges of that swatch. And you can see it's quite hard. It fades away, but to get that line to blend in with your skin takes a good 10-15 seconds. Obviously you wouldn't go in like that on your eye. Am I even in focus? But yeah, it's finally starting to soften up on that line. And we're going to do Tati's now. So yeah, it is pretty hard. Definitely more harder to blend. It's staying put a lot. But it's fading, it's still doing it. Yeah, it's smoothed it out. So I'm just trying to blend that line out with this brush. And I think they're both quite difficult browns to work with if you go in too heavy on that first instance. So when I did use the palette, I went in with a light hand on all shades because I wasn't sure how it was going to perform, so I wanted to be extra careful. And I noticed that did me a favour. That was a good thing to do, because if I would have went in ham like I do on my Morphe palettes or my older palettes, which I know how they perform, then I would have had issues blending it out. I would have done. So you do need to go in a little bit more lighter, but knowing that they're pigmented shadows, you just take your time, use a light hand to blend, you'll be fine. Overall, I would say for $48, it's a good price point. I don't think it's too expensive. I prefer this over a lot of my palettes. I have accumulated quite a lot of palettes in the last year or so, and this will definitely make it into my top 5. I guarantee it. She's done a good job for her first release. I think it's classy, sophisticated. You can create day looks, night looks. It's a nice all-round starter palette, and I can't wait to see what she brings out for the next volume. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you soon with another video. So the swatches I'm showing you at the moment is the first row of mattes. We have the mattes on this side all the way up until here, and then we have the sequins. The sequins is definitely my preferred formula. I think it's beautiful. And here is the other 2 rows. My camera does quite a good job of picking up how beautiful and stunning this palette is. Oh my goodness, the glitters are screaming my name. Absolutely stunning. So if you want a new Christmas present from Santa, I would definitely recommend Tati. Well done, Tati.